What's up, guys? Special guest on the podcast today as we talk about joy, Christmas, consumerism, and how do we navigate keeping the most important thing at the center. Let's roll. Hey everyone, welcome to the Pastors Hangover. My name is Melissa, and we are going to chat about the overflow of the weekend message and dive into some biblical truth. And with us today is Pastor Hal Mayer.
Merry Christmas.
Pastor Craig Altman.
Merry Christmas.
And Pastor Hal Mayer again.
Wait, are you guys related?
Just a second. Merry Christmas.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
And yes, we're related.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brothers or father,
that's
son,
it,
or
that's it.
grandfather?
I'm the older
grandson,
brother.
Yeah.
Hey, actually, Hal Mayer is a great friend. He was actually on staff for a while here. Been a blessing to me. I know, mentoring me even personally. Things we've had conversations in the past, and it's good to have you with us.
Oh, thanks, man. It's great to be here. Watch you guys. I never thought I'd get to be a part of it. I was going to text Melissa and tell her I had dirt on Hal, but
Well, you were a seventh
That's
choice.
why you're here.
seventh
We
round
called
pick.
5 other people. No one could do it. So this is grab Hal.
So awesome. Why don't you share who you are? You are pastor, Church of the Bay. Why don't you share the kind of what we were talking about outside?
Yeah, I came to Tampa in 2005.
Yeah.
Started Church of the Bay. Immediately came out, started connecting with Pastor Craig, and we were getting together for lunch sometimes once a month.
Yeah.
Just talking back and forth. I had experience in large churches, and so we would just deal with stuff. And it was interesting. Church of the Bay was doing well, but I was getting older, and we couldn't find 24/7 space. And set up and tear down when you're 60 got to be a little bit old. So I was praying, and God, I think, said to me, hey, you need to merge with Grace Family, the Church of the Bay, and become their first campus, and you'll be over the multi-site. I thought, okay, we'll try it. So I went to lunch with Pastor Craig, and I said, I don't know if it's the pizza I had last night, Craig, or God, but here's what I'm thinking. He went, really?
Yeah.
Well, let me think, and that started the roll. So I became your first campus, and helped you on the front end with that.
Carrollwood.
Definitely.
It's now the Carrollwood campus.
Wow.
So
And you did a good job, because a lot of your people, anytime you do a transition like that, a lot of people leave, man. A lot of that church stayed with us as we moved into the building.
They're still there.
Yeah, still
A
there.
lot of them.
Did a good job. I mean, they don't miss you, but they're still there.
yeah, I go over there and they say the original. I said, yeah, and crispy.
And I love what you said outside. How did it feel like coming to Craig?
Oh,
and
I
everyone?
felt like I was losing.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing was, we were running 450 or so, but I couldn't get a permanent space, and it was tiring us out, and I just thought, what? And so when I did that, it felt like losing, like giving up, like being a quitter. But in hindsight, I see what God did, and obviously I was just slow to come around, but it's God's story, and I love where I am now. I love to see what Grace is doing, what's happening over here. I mean, guys, what God's doing here is really cool. So
That's a good word, I think, for maybe, I know this, I don't know who's watching this podcast, but there are pastors who are maybe in a place where they know it's time to do something different. And I think pride can get in the way sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
And they go, wait, so this might be God for me to join or collaborate or partner with someone. You got to be open to that sometimes. It doesn't work all the time,
right?
Yeah.
But you got to be open to it. And I think that was a big part, Hal, that you were willing to surrender all that and go, hey, you know what, this might be a good thing, and it was for all of us.
Yeah, yeah. And I had raised a lot of money, and one of the things that was, I felt I was letting people down who had sponsored me.
Yeah.
And I called them, and not a one of them said that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so the enemy, what he does is, if you'll just live in your own silo, you'll come up with wrong ideas, stew on them, and come out in the wrong place instead of opening up and just talking about it. And Craig was a trusted friend.
Yeah.
It's good. It turned out pretty good. We got
did.
Hal now on the
Yes.
teaching team, and
Yeah.
and you come and cheer him on Saturday night. He doesn't like you sitting on the front row, though. It's a little
I know, I
intimidating.
don't get that.
Well, when you kind of do this,
Well, no,
when he hits a bad point, it's kind
When you're bullying and heckling him.
This is what actually, truthfully, when
Yeah.
I first started teaching at Church of the Bay, he would sit on the front row, smaller room.
Yeah.
And you only got about 200 people in the room, and he would sit on the very front row. Everyone would laugh, and he'd look down and write.
Yeah. It's,
And I'm like, what just happened?
that's
And then randomly,
intimidating.
I'll just be talking, and he's like writing, and all my mind and thinking is, what is he writing down at this moment? So myself, along with Pastor Neil, was actually on staff. We were like, hey, could you move further back?
Yeah.
Because we just see everything
And
you're
most of
doing.
it was encouraging, but
It
their
was.
self-esteem wasn't in place yet, so they struggled.
there you go. So anyway, you're consulting now, right?
Coaching,
You're
consulting.
coaching, and we just good to have you with us.
Thank you.
We're
Good
gonna
to
have
be
some
here.
fun today.
Yes, we are. And I just love that story because it doesn't have to feel good to be God.
Yeah.
And I think that was just
That's a
when
good
you
line.
said
And
it
the other beauty
so
of
clearly.
it, if you go back and look in your past at some of your biggest hurts and see what God did out of them, they can become your biggest wins.
Yeah. True.
Yep. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Pastor Kevin's message. He's with us in the joy.
Yeah.
And even if you watched it, the online version or saw it, there was an opening video of the Durham family and the joy that they have with their boys with special needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
And
powerful.
Very powerful.
so powerful, and just what God does in your moment of confusion or, you know, not uncertainty.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about Christmas. We're going to talk about joy. Why don't you guys share? Let's start with, how do you see Christmas differently today than when you were a newer Christian? When years ago, let's say you were, you know, early in your faith, what does it mean to you today that's different than what it used to be?
Well, these guys are kind of raised in the church. I
True.
wasn't, so Christmas was totally different celebration. It was a party time, drinking, all that stuff. But when I became a Christian, oh man, it was like reliving it as a child, but from a spiritual child, just the birth of Jesus and all the miracles in the Christmas story. It just was, to me, awe-inspiring and encouraging. And I love it to this day. I love Christmas. I love the Christmas season.
Yeah.
I love the Christmas carols because we live in a world that maybe doesn't believe, but they have to hear it for about a month. They hear all the Christmas carols. We have so much great theology in them. And so it means a lot to me, even to this day. But early as a Christian, it was all so new to me. I'm like, this is so cool. Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you weren't actually raised.
No,
in
I
the church.
grew up pagan too.
Oh, okay.
And
Heathen, pagan.
Oh, absolutely. My mom told me when I was 30, I'm so proud you're in ministry. I thought by now you'd be in prison.
Yeah,
So
there
that
you
was
go.
the kind of way I was living. But anyway, that being said, I remember the change of Christmas when I became a believer.
Yeah.
Before that, it was about what's the gift going to be? What can I do? How can I party? And then it was Jesus.
Yeah.
And I'm going, this is amazing. I used to go to the 11 o'clock services all the time just because I thought, let's do this. And it changed everything. We did the quirky stuff sometimes when our kids were little about Christmas and all that. But Christmas just changed the meaning. But now it's so much. I've got grandkids, and it's about seeing what they experience and helping them understand it's about Jesus and gratefulness. So there I am.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a lot of the kids in this moment, because I'll just be honest, like growing up through it, I think there's a season, especially without kids and stuff like that, where I was like, man, I just don't feel the Christmas. Like I don't feel it. And it was one of those things when I started going, all right, I'm going to read Luke 2 regularly during this season. Like it's going to become a regular thing because you can lose sight of it so easy. I think we can do it. I think we can go through Christmas as just this another day. And I mean, it's the same thing with church. We can just go through it instead of realizing what happened. The fact that when Jesus came down, we like to look at him as the little baby boy, like 8 pound, 4 ounce baby Jesus, but he came on purpose for purpose. Like he came to die for us. And that's that's the incredible side of Christmas is it was the beginning of what was going to become the greatest miracle that we've ever
prophecy
seen.
from long ago.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. And like Pastor Craig said, right, there might be pastors listening or high-level leaders or just people leading in other areas in the workplace. And I want to talk to, if someone's listening right now that feels distant from God, numb spiritually, what's one step they can take to find that joy, refine that joy in Christmas, in Jesus? And I think that was something that I've learned from Pastor Darrell's book, is that no leader is adverse to these feelings, right? No one is beyond reproach. So what's something that we can say to give them a tangible step or just encourage someone to rediscover that joy?
Well, I think the reason we lose it or become numb to it, we got to figure out there's probably things that happen in that person's life. Maybe they had major disappointment. Something didn't work out right. Or maybe they're in a place where they feel like God doesn't love them because they're not really living for him right now. So each one of those is addressed differently. Like if you're feeling condemned, that's not God. I mean, God convicts us. He wants you to get back on the right track. But to me, go back and it sounds simple. Go read the Bible again. Romans 8:1. Therefore, now there is no condemnation to those who are in Christ. You got to believe that, because every day you're going to fail. I know you feel like you failed God, but God is for you and He's not against you. If you're not, get back in the community, get into a life-giving church. It's going to encourage you. For that person, that's so. so important. That numbness, that feeling, you can't do what you're doing because nothing will change. So just, community and I don't know, go back to when you first, I do this in dry moments with God. We all have dry times. When I'm in a very season where I'm not hearing God or feel distant from Him, I go back to some of the things that really touched me. Old worship songs that I go, they're really outdated today, but I go back and listen to those songs and it stirs something in me.
Oh, that's neat.
Nostalgia is not a bad thing sometimes, to go back to where you first found God, right? Bethel, go back to Bethel. So go back to some of those moments and rehearse some of those moments and live some of those.
That's good. I think there's two sides a lot of times. One, we've fallen out of relationships sometimes where we stop spending time with them. We stop doing that. Or we haven't done what He's asked us to do. I think a lot of times He wants us to take a step of faith. Or I think one of the biggest things that brings back that excitement of Jesus is to tell somebody else about your faith, like to bring somebody else along. Go to do something different in your neighborhood. Go hand out cookies and hand them an invite. Go do some personal invites, because it's amazing how much more you pay attention to the service, to everything that's going on when you invite someone. And I think that's where we miss it a lot of times. Is it's so easy to make everything about us. Sometimes our Christian walk can become about us, and we've got to get out and talk to somebody, speak to somebody, serve someone, do something outwardly. And that's the time where God grows us the most. And so I think there's different sides of it. If it's a pain, if it's that, like you talked about, but if you're just finding your life being mundane with Christ, it's probably because you're not doing anything that requires faith.
Ooh, that's good.
That requires a relationship with Him.
Well, JOY, Jesus, others than you.
Yeah.
And so focusing on you, I think it's, you can get into a little bit of a pity party. I hate to say that, but
Yeah, for me, I'm trying to think about, it's what I'm paying attention to. You've got a gaze and a glance. So if I'm gazing at my problems on this level, and every once in a while I glance up to God, I'm going to find my joy draining. However, if I'm gazing at God and then glance at my problems, it changes everything perspective. Because when I'm losing joy, that's my issue. It's not God's. And it's my focus is wrong. And I do what Craig does, not the old worship songs, because if I started singing them, Craig, they'd be really...
Well, I didn't say I sing them. I just listen to them.
But I rehearse what God's done.
And
Because it's so, you look now and you see this, there's always problems. But remember what God's done and the gratefulness. And that's when I gaze at Him and glance at problems, I'm winning. So,
Wow. And okay, so you shared you were an unbeliever. How did you...
I said I was a pagan, but go ahead.
Okay. Sinner.
She's saying the nicer part.
You're absolute sinner. How did you come to know the Lord?
I was living in Maryland growing up there, and we were CEOs, Christmas and Easter only, and I didn't ever want to go. We moved to Atlanta, and I had relatives warn me, that's the Bible Belt down there. Those hard shell Baptists, they're going to be preaching that. And I said, I'm staying away from them. And I thought, I'm engaged in sports. No Christian could pass the physical, right? Because my idea of Christians was little weenies.
Yeah, little wimpy guys. Yeah. Me too. I thought the same way.
I went to this Bible study with my sister. I'll never forget. I thought they were going to do a devotion and play ping pong, and I wanted to play ping pong. And we went in there, and people started talking about this walk with God that was so strange in this relationship. A guy named Doug Ellis sat down with me. This was during the Jesus movement, by the way, and shared with me the 4 spiritual laws. That's an old, Greg will know that one.
I know that one.
And I thought, I lied. I said, I trusted Christ, but I hadn't. But as I kept coming, I realized I wanted what they had, and this Jesus was real. And that's when I came to faith, and God changed the trajectory of my life completely then.
So good.
Wow.
Man, don't lose that personal witness.
Yeah.
I love it. Sharing of others.
Yep. That's the biggest thing that you've talked about in this season. And that's why I wanted you to share that, because you came for ping pong. And, and that's, I mean, I have learned so much of that from Pastor Craig. Like,
I
who
came
cares?
for a pretty girl.
Yeah. Right.
All the wrong motives. Yeah.
Right. Who cares what they come for?
That's
They
right.
will, God you can
get
plant
a hold
that
of
seed. Did you get to play ping pong?
No.
Oh, well.
They didn't even have a table, and that's wrong.
Oh, so you just got conned. They didn't even have a table.
I don't know, they conned me or I had it in my mind.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nobody lied to you and said
Maybe they did, but I don't remember.
It was all for a purpose. All on purpose.
Yeah, there you go.
All for a good reason. Okay, awesome. So be a witness, reach out to your neighbors, reach out to people in this season, and back to joy. Is joy a feeling that I wait for, or is it a discipline that I need to practice? How can I possibly practice a feeling?
That's good.
It's not a feeling. It's a choice, I would call it. And it's based off of, like you said, what are you looking at? What are you focused on? What do you, and then Pastor Kevin hit this really hard this past week. He's like, what are you paying attention to? Are you paying attention to what God has done for you, or are you paying attention to everything else? And so when you look at what Jesus did for us on the cross, that's where our joy comes from.
Yeah.
It's the fact that what he gave us is more than enough already. And we know in the end, and Pastor Kevin said, we win. And so a joy is not I'm walking around smiling, just giddy all the time. A joy is an understanding, no matter what I'm walking through, God's
right.
with me. God's going to use what's happening in my life. And then in the end, there will be no tears. There will be no sorrow. We get heaven. And that's the thing. It's not something we wait around for. It's something we choose to go after or choose to focus on, I guess is what I would say.
What does Paul say in James, is it James, consider it pure joy when you go through trials and afflictions, because we know, and he goes into the shaping of our character, that no pain or adversity is going to be wasted. And that's where we can get joy, not in what's happening, but joy knowing that God is going to somehow take this and shape me and bring purpose through the pain or whatever it might be. And, I will say, though, yes, you choose joy, but it does lead to a feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, you can joy is an emotional feeling, but it's not based on happenings.
Right.
Because bad things happen, all the time. It's based on who you know and what he said about you and know what he's done for you and your identity in Christ. That's what brings the joy,
Well, it's in all relationships. Same thing with marriage, right? Sometimes you just have to choose your spouse.
Yeah.
You choose to love them.
Yeah.
That's not,
Really?
love is not an emotion.
Does Chrissy know this?
She absolutely knows it.
Yeah.
And so you choose to love them, and then the feeling follows.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's that dynamic.
Yeah.
For me, joy is not a destination. It's how you travel.
Yeah.
And it's what you guys were talking about, what you're paying attention to. And then it moves into happiness for me. But when I think about all that God has done, and the promise is that all things work together for good, that he's going to develop me, nothing's a loss. Everything's going to be a win.
Yeah.
I'm winning all the time because God's in control of the future, not me.
Yeah.
When I get there, I can look back and go, oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
But right now I may not. And that's where you lose joy.
Yeah. It's funny. It is perspective and context. Many of us, we've all been to third world nations and see people who love Jesus and know Jesus, but that's all they have.
Yeah.
And they're living in a dirt house, and they're smiling and so full of, we're going, how do they?
Yeah.
They have something, you know, and sometimes we have to get our perspective.
Right. And it's not like this where we have pain in our life and we go, yay, I'm so excited. God's going to use this.
Right.
It's not that happens right away.
Exactly.
That happens with time with God as you move along. But it is that ability, even in the toughest times, to be able to go, but God is still.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the sports metaphor. When I coached, I'd run guys till somebody threw up. And nobody liked that, but they liked it midway through the season when they were in shape.
That's right.
Yeah.
So there's that piece.
There is
I
that
mentioned
part.
throw up. So there you go.
That's
It's okay. Yeah. No, I mean, we talked about a colonoscopy last week on the show, so we talk about everything here.
I tell you what will make you lose your joy watching the Buccaneers last Thursday night.
God.
But how about
That's a
my
whole nother-
Steelers last night?
Okay, I knew that was happening. I was for it to happen.
Were you?
By the way, yeah.
Okay, good.
Because I don't want Miami thinking they have a chance for the playoffs because they play the Bucs next week.
Oh.
So now the
There you
season's
go.
over. Motivation's going to be a little different. So thank you,
There
Pittsburgh.
you go.
But you know what, though? Talking about we can't allow things to steal our joy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's so. And it's so hard. I know you're going, but it's so hard. It is. That's where that idea of what are you gazing at?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, it's more than once I've had to stop and go, time out.
Yeah.
This is what I'm feeling. Why is that?
Right.
Yeah.
What does God say?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you need people around you to remind you of that.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
don't always naturally come to that conclusion ourselves. We need people to that's why, you ever been in a situation where you said something out loud and the moment you said it out loud, you went, oh, that's dumb. or that doesn't make sense. Well, even if we say it out loud sometimes, but sometimes we need somebody to go, how, come on. That's not what's happening. That's not what's going on.
Yeah.
And this is who God still is.
Or how about feeling sorry for yourself when you go to your small group and then you realize they're going through 10 times more than I'm going through. I'm like, what am I to?
Yeah.
Perspective comes with community and all those things. Yeah.
I live in the villages now, and we call that God's waiting room.
Yeah.
Disney for old people. You go there.
you go.
But I'll be there, and people will be angry because they didn't get put on the right team. And I said, time out.
Yeah.
What you're talking about is a problem that the people in the rest of the world don't experience. Nobody in Africa is being mad they didn't get on the right team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa, back up. We live here.
Yeah.
Look what God's done.
Yeah. It's perspective, man.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah.
I've heard that about the village.
God's waiting room. That's weird.
right.
That is weird. Okay, let's do. We got time for one more question, and then we always have time for any embarrassing stories you have about Pastor House. So
no, you can't tell.
You brainstorm. You think
whatever you choose to do. I'll just share something different from stage this weekend.
There you go.
I wouldn't share anything you hadn't already shared, and you pretty much shared most of them.
Yeah.
That's true. So how do you navigate the consumerism of Christmas? And I'm going to say, for your three perspective, what about for your kids? What about for your grandkids? Like, how do you navigate? I think a lot of people, their joy comes from their stuff. The tangible, physical stuff. People are buying stuff off the shelves this time of year. It's insane. And it has become a consumerism holiday. How do we navigate that? How do you navigate that with your next generation?
Well, what my dad did is he took our Christmas presents and he gave them to other people. So I'm kidding. That never happened.
Really?
That's a joke. That's a joke. No, I'm
like,
just playing.
that's evil.
No, I think it's a constant conversation with your kids. And I don't think you need to go overboard.
Right.
I think one of the things they've even found, parents, you can look this up, the more toys a kid has, the more anxiety they have and the less they play with their toys. And even the other side of it is they want you more than they want the toy. And so we've got to pull back and just have conversations about our expectations of this entire holiday and go, guys, it's not worth spending money we don't have to have this amazing Christmas. But two, let's focus on how do we make sure our kids understand it. But then also, it's not that we don't give gifts. That's not the dynamic at all. I've heard parents doing that. It's not that we don't give gifts. It's that it's gifts, but then we're also focused on what else are we going to do? Are we serving somebody else? I mean, we've served the homeless on different times. We've gone out and served other people. Like, it's very purposeful of this is what the season is about. And when your kids are involved in serving, a lot of times they're like, that's better. Yeah. They're like, they're nervous about it. But when they get to do it, that feeling that you get from serving it, they love it. And so it's a combination of things. But
I ditto that. Just keep talking about what the real heart of Christmas is all about. It is about generosity. God was the most generous person in the world. Yeah. He gave the best thing he had, his son Jesus, to die on a cross. I mean, the gift of Jesus is extravagant. So generosity is a part of Christmas, but the consumerism part is constantly having a talk.
One of the things we did, still do, to keep the values in line so you don't go crazy overspending. And this sounds a little cheesy, so if it is, I apologize. I don't apologize. Yeah. We made sure the best gift we bought went to Jesus. So whatever we'd spend on any one person, I was going to give more than it's his birthday. And I know that sounds that was weird. But what it is, it's the idea of, well, I know I'm going to give the best gift to Jesus, so it keeps the rest in focus, because you can go bananas.
Yeah.
And the other thing we did when you guys were little, if you remember this, they'd get so many toys and stuff from grandparents. We'd take half of them, put them up in the closet.
We do that.
And then halfway through the year, it's Christmas again. We bring them out, and they got new toys to play with.
Good idea.
Our 6-year-old can't handle having that many toys. He just can't. So we keep them in the box, and then we open them up every 2 weeks, that kind of dynamic to make it a little bit longer. But it's overwhelming, and it's a lot, and it teaches the kids.
But he's the most fun kid to buy for.
You give him, it doesn't matter what it is. He is through the roof when he gets a gift. Like, he is so excited.
I love this. You're the best. It hugs you and all. Yeah.
His smile is so big.
It is.
It looks like it hurts him. It is just, some of the pictures I see, I'm like, that is so
But after 6 or 7 gifts, he gets overwhelmed.
He has so much joy.
Yeah, he does.
I think, like you said earlier, go and serve someone else. It's less fortunate to you. Take your family. New Life Warehouse. There's a lot of opportunities to go serve people who have less, and your kids get a different perspective,
Yeah. Or even somebody in your neighborhood that's going through a tough time. Yeah. Like, find ways of doing it.
Yeah. So what do you mean you give the best gift to Jesus?
So if I spend $500 on a gift for Hal, I give more than that to a special thing at the church. It may be to a mission or something like that. But just, and it's the old thing, whose birthday is it? But it helps me stay focused in there. Yeah. Because I want to make sure I am being generous, like Craig said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very cool.
No doubt.
Very cool. I think this was really helpful as we're going through these season of the year. Mm-hmm. Anything anyone wants to close with?
Do you have a story?
I'm fishing.
I have several stories. This guy, though, I'll tell you the story. We were doing Church of the Bay. We had Saturday night 2 services and Sunday. He's really smart. I sent him to a creation research thing when he was in the 5th or 6th grade. It was 3 days. He soaked it all in. Was terrible then for classes in high school and college because he could debate really well and all that. And
we were doing apologetic series.
we're doing apologetic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Doing apologetic series. And I said, okay, I need 10 minutes of about creation and 20 minutes of so what.
Mm-hmm.
So you did.
In the 5th grade.
No. This was
at Church of the Bay.
I was like, 25.
Oh, you were an adult.
Yeah,
Okay,
He was
sorry.
25, and we did feedback. So he did Saturday night, and he did 25 minutes of creation, which the 5 geeks in the room loved, and then 5 minutes of application. And Sandy, after I said, I got to talk with Hal, she said, what do you mean? We went to the Starbucks. I said, I got to tell him he's got to redo his message for tomorrow. And this told me volumes about him because I challenged him. He humbled himself and totally redid the message and nailed it. But it was an interesting interchange. It was going to test to see if he'd listen to his dad or not.
Wow.
Teachable.
And he was teachable. So,
Well, my most disappointing Christmas story, I've said this at church before. I was about 12 and I got a BB gun for Christmas. You know this.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so excited about my BB gun, but I was more excited my older brother who never wanted to hang with me. Hey, let's go outside and shoot your BB gun. We live right behind a playground. I said, man, my older brother wants to hang with me. His name is Wayne, by the way. He goes to our South Tampa campus.
Hi, Wayne.
And again, I'm 12, and they go out there, and he gets my BB gun, and he cocks it, and he goes, start running. I said, what? He goes, start running. And he shoots me with my own BB gun.
Oh,
That's my Christmas
That's an
story.
older brother story. That's
Yes.
great.
Oh,
Yes.
that's so good.
classic
That's
older
fun.
brother
Fun.
story.
I still remember one year, like you had gotten us, I didn't know it, but you had gotten us a brand new bike. And so some of the other gifts weren't amazing gifts. And so I remember opening them up and them not being what I had necessarily wanted. I remember my dad looking at me, telling me to change my face. And then finally at the end, we open up, I'm like, oh, we got this. And so all the excitement kind of came in. And it was just one of those reminders of like, you can't just look at what's in front of you.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing that happens with Jesus is like, we look at maybe the little blessings that we have in our life right now. And so often we forget the biggest one.
Yeah.
And so we can get down and look at other people, what they're getting.
Yeah.
And I remember we were opening it in front of other cousins and all that, and they were getting these big things. I'm like, well, gosh.
Yeah.
Comparison.
Yeah.
Comparison
There's a
kills
good
it.
gift to
Can't
church,
compare.
though.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesus got something great.
He got a motorcycle.
That is hysterical. Well, thank you guys. Part of that why people love the show also is because they get to know the teaching team better. So I just feel like having you here was a great way to let us know about Pastor Hal more and get to know him
I'm
better.
grateful to be here. So thankful. I've known Craig for years, loved him. Obviously loved that guy his whole life. But I got to tell you something. This may be hard.
Okay.
If you're not on this podcast, they shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I agree with
Oh,
that.
does everyone hear that? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
You are amazing.
That's very
You
kind.
do a great
She
job on
does.
this.
Thank you.
Very good.
That is very kind. I had to take a break for the baby over the summer, but I'm glad they had me back.
Did you
I
name
didn't
their
know.
baby after Hal or Daryl? Or
There's a
Craig?
lot of house.
We had a couple name suggestions. We didn't take any.
Oh.
Yeah.
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 Rocky.
Rocky was a good one.
top
Very
contender.
sad.
Balboa,
Yeah.
middle name. It would have been good.
I wanted to
Balboa.
just
Well,
call
thank
him
you.
the
Thank you
Godfather.
for being
The
here.
Godfather.
That's right.
Wow. The Prince. My father-in-law calls him the
Yeah,
Prince.
yeah.
He is
It's
awesome.
the firstborn.
Yes. Well, thank you for being here. Seriously, it
Thank you.
blessed
Yeah.
us. We hope it blessed you guys. Thank you guys for being with
Yeah.
us for another
Merry
episode
Christmas.
of the Pastors Hangover. Merry almost Christmas.
Yeah,
Happy
it's getting
birthday,
close.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week.
See ya.
See you guys.